understood that. Like when people start talking about universe, space, and all that, that's when I'm just like, all right, because I don't believe in all of that. Like planets and aliens and all of that. If anything's coming down here, that's fallen angels, demons, something like the beast. Hibernating. If you ask me, if you do see anything that's unhuman, like
Yeah.
it's something to do with God. There ain't no aliens, ain't no space. Like how Jupiter that far away if you've never been? If we don't have the technology to measure it. Just like NASA. I forget it means deception. I forget from what language, but NASA is a big deception overall.
Mm.
Big deception. We can't leave here. We cannot leave here.
You talking about like go to the moon and stuff?
Like, no, we can't.
So you're saying nobody ever went to the
Penetrated
moon?
the firmament now.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I don't
Mm-mm.
know. I've seen some stuff, some videos on Corridor Crew
Mm.
talking about like with special effects if they tried to recreate it.
And they
So I'm
they
not sure.
been exposed with these
Talking about Corridor Crew
videos.
was exposed.
Nah, I can't remember what crew was, but these NASA videos, original NASA videos, using Hollywood techniques to show like
Yeah,
they're in
I seen
space and
some
whatnot.
videos on it,
Mm.
but I mean, even if somebody could go to the moon, it would prove even more that God was real. But um,
The
I've
moon.
seen the videos of them saying like we can't go to the moon, and it's not like I have a problem with that theory,
Mm.
but it's just what I've seen from. If you ever get a chance, you see the Corridor Crew. They said that they're showing it. They could just be, faking it, but
Hmm.
if they're sincere, they're video effects specialists, and they're showing
Exactly.
footage from way back then
Hmm.
before they had the technology.
Hmm.
And even now, they're saying if we
That
wanted to
part.
create the way it looks now, it would be so impossible
Mm.
to create those videos. So it's
Wow.
like, it almost seems like the only way they could have had those videos is if they actually did go to the moon.
Mm.
So that's what they're saying. And their visual effects artists saying this, like, there's no way you can recreate this. Unless they're just lying. They would have to be lying.
And
So
the question
But
is
you'd
the
have to look
moon
at the video.
is the
Like,
moon in the firmament or outside of it? Where's the moon exactly?
I have to read
um,
Genesis again. I don't know.
Right.
you mean according to the firmament?
Yeah. Is it outside of it or within it?
I mean, I would say outside of it.
Then they can't go to the moon. Like
We
so.
saying we can't leave the firmament? There's a verse in
Yeah,
it.
like it's on Discovery Channel. One of them, they actually tried it, and then they end up hitting a body of water above us, and they kept bouncing off of it every time they're trying to penetrate it. Elon Musk himself, right now, every time shooting them rockets. You remember seeing on the internet a couple years ago all these like rockets like in California. I don't know if you remember them. People was like trying to figure out what's in the sky, but he trying to penetrate the firmament. He can't get through it. With the
So,
technology we have today, we still can't get through it.
I don't know.
so I kind of have a little bit of a different viewpoint when it comes to like
You
science.
can, what is this, 232? You can hit main, and then we'll go back to it in
Oh,
a
okay.
second.
So, like me and science and me and God. So, I, I, I guess the best way to say it is, I believe in science. I accept a lot of. Oh no, I
Blasphemy.
believe in
I'll
God.
just play.
There you go.
I believe in God.
I mess with y'all. Just
Yeah, I said it backwards. I believe in God, and then I accept science
Mm-hmm.
in many cases.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And so, like, I think where science fails is it cannot explain the things that are unexplainable. And so I wouldn't say you can't leave the firmament. I don't. I wouldn't know personally,
Mm-hmm.
but I would say that they get so far and then they get into what they understand. They refuse to believe that it's something bigger than just leaves and air and all that
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff just working without a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think science really wants us to think that there is nothing, like there is no meaning. And that's what I can't get behind.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's as far as they can research because in Romans it tells you the invisible things of God are clearly seen. So those things, the effects of God, they're seen, but no man has ever seen God. So if scientists are just going by what they see, yeah, you're never going to be convinced
Right.
because you
Exactly.
can't see God like that. You can't if we're saying something is supernatural, you can't prove it with natural, But if you use the natural and say, hey, this stuff is so, like, even if evolution were true, that would be a miracle. The chances of that happening would be a miracle, and that would be evidence for God too. So they can't even get around it with their fake theories. Let me see, Black Wealth Creator Podcast. I was reading a devotional and it said, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So just like the earth was
Heavens.
created, and we have the entire Bible explaining how we get to Jesus. On the flip side, the heavens have grown at the same time. Yeah, so heavens,
It's like 7 heavens, isn't there?
um,
You got the water,
there's
what you
probably
use for the
more.
flood.
They just explained 7 in but that's just, they don't say there are only 7, you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
So there's
right,
probably multiple, but
Right.
heaven, it means different things. Like heaven means the air.
Mhm.
Heaven means paradise. Heaven
Yeah,
means,
that's
you know what
true.
I'm saying? So
That's
there's
true.
different
Mhm.
flat earth. I definitely don't believe in a flat earth. Do you believe in flat earth?
We could say that for later. It's like not necessarily what I believe. It's just the way God described the world, you know, and
In the
with
Bible?
yeah, and with that for the earth be for the earth is still like simple as that. He don't make he don't make confusion. That's not what he's about, you know. And with that being said,
But he
like
does speak in parables. He says stuff like drink my blood and eat my flesh. That's very confusing to people who don't have a love for the truth.
you see, and
And
that's
he'll
another.
send you a strong delusion. So you say it's not confusing, but to some people it is. But
Yeah,
he's not the
yeah.
author of confusion. And some things are very hard to understand, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's confusion because it's hard to understand.
And with the Old Testament, they used to have to do things. They lived differently, you know. So it's just like what was normal to them, like sleeping with their cousin and whatnot, is different for us, you know.
Yeah.
Like you get what I'm trying to say? But
And somebody can say that's confusing.
exactly, yeah,
And God's
yeah,
not the author of confusion.
yeah. I see what you're saying. But what were we talking about just now?
The flat earth.
Oh yeah,
How you
so
believe in a lie. Not just for you.
you're funny. Nah, not
I'm
even.
just playing.
But you know how we like, for example, next time you go on the airplane, ask the pilot, why can't we go to Asia? 'Cause I love going to Asia. Why can't we go to Asia from the East Coast, from New York, from Georgia, going west? Why do we have to always go past California and keep going? You know, I mean, go west instead of east. You know, but it's
They'll
because it's
tell
not
you.
possible.
They'll tell you it's a farther distance to go that far around than it is to go this
And
way.
that's bull. Like
Because you got
you may get some
Pangea,
people that give you that answer. Yeah.
but Pangea was one big, massive piece of land,
Mm.
and it just separated. But they're still close. There's so much more water around the other side.
That's
It would
been
take,
undiscovered.
but there have been, and I've seen this. I forgot who did it, but there have been like boat journeys from one continent all the way around to the other one. That's what they have on some articles, but obviously it's
And that's the thing. The map not even that all that accurate because they can't, you know, figure out everything. Like they basically can't see it
Really,
all.
all you have to do, though, honestly, to know to in my view,
Mm.
to know that the Earth is a sphere. I mean, I think certain parts in the Bible are metaphorical,
Mm.
and some parts tell you that I'd have to go through my notes and we can talk about this again. But
I feel
if
you.
you look at the moon, you'll see different sides, different
That's
faces
what's
of.
rotating the moon.
But see,
Yes.
the moon is a sphere, but the Earth is
Mm.
flat. That's crazy. You see
I
different
see what you're saying.
faces of the moon
Mhm.
every time you look at it. There's different way. There's different, like you'll see this, and then next time, like a few weeks from now, you'll see a different face, or however long it takes. But you see different faces of the moon when you look up at it. So
Mm.
that would mean that
And that's
this
because
is
of
a
shadow.
sphere. The sun is a big ball of fire,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
And these stars, they're just big balls of fire.
That's the thing.
And
They actually
we're
water.
You said what?
They are actually water driplets being reflected through with the light.
You're talking about the
The
sun?
stars. The
stars?
stars. Yeah.
You're talking about there are no stars?
Like when you say they're fireballs or whatever, like mini suns,
Yeah, other
basically, right?
suns, yeah.
Yeah. See, I feel like it's actually water driplets with light being
Okay.
reflected through it.
I ain't never heard.
I'm gonna send you this video later on so you can see.
Stuff sounds crazy,
I
and
like
I'm not
to see
saying it's
Look,
dumb,
look.
but it's just
I would
funny
like
because
to
I
see
ain't never
the
heard that
video
before.
too.
Yeah, now I hear you.
Because I
But-
don't know what you mean by like things that look like stars are actually. Are you saying it's a
It's like
reflection on like water in
basically
space?
like raindrops
Yeah.
with light being shined through it.
Is it raining in space?
Now,
It's raining on.
the
Is it raining?
the stars is
But
pretty
they-
much alive, like not like
You're
living
saying
beings,
why we
but
don't see
with the
them.
word of God being trembled through them.
Are you saying like why we don't see stars all the time? Like what makes you think that?
Because of the sun, of course, you know, the light.
Because if the sun bounces off the okay,
The sun could be over there, and the light. You know how powerful that light is, and it still reflects, you know, off of the water. I don't know how to explain all of that. I
I'm
don't
just
know
saying
too
like
much
I
about
don't
it.
know how you would know like or not know but like theorize that where is the rain when if it's not raining and I see stars? That's why I'm confused.
Okay,
That's
so
what
I
I'm
guess
saying.
rain is a bad example to use, but
So are you basically saying
The
it's a?
moisture in the
So you're
air,
not
maybe. Like
necessarily saying
I don't
water,
know.
but are you saying like
it's
Moisture
basically
in the
water,
air.
it's
not
moisture.
necessarily water, but like you know how there's metal that is liquid,
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
and so like there could be a situation because essentially, um, the sun is a gaseous object.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
just
It's
pull it up at this
basically a
point.
burning. It's burning gas essentially.
Yeah.
So if you're just saying it's liquid, that would be true because it's or liquid like is true because it's a gaseous object.
Mm-hmm.
So that would make sense to me. But it being a water droplet, I guess I have to need more. I have to see this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I don't really understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's my problem because I'm thinking about rain in the sky, and the sun is reflecting off the rain, and we're seeing stars like way up in the air or something. Like I don't understand because even the Bible says there are stars. So if the Bible says you say the Bible says Earth is flat, the Bible definitely talks about the
No, I'm saying there
stars.
is stars, but the way we describing it, you know, some may say fire, some may say water,
So
but
you're saying they're not suns,
yeah,
stars,
they're
or
not like
something
because
else.
like basically, if galaxies and all of that exists, that's proving their point that the Big Bang theory is real.
But
You
see,
know?
I agree that the Big Bang Theory is real.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Me
I
too.
never knew that.
It
Okay.
proves that God is real because the Big Bang means that God had to bang it. That means how did the if the universe is expanding, that means it started from one point. In the beginning, God said, "Let there be light."
Mm-hmm.
Universe means one word. So the word in the beginning was the word. You got universe, which that's just, some um, wordplay or whatever. But
Never had thought of it like that, but
But if the Big Bang actually happened and it's expanding, that means that disproves atheists when they try to say that the universe is eternal. Because if the universe is eternal, then we could have always existed. But
tight.
because of the Big Bang, that means we could not have always existed. That means we started to exist. So
Okay,
something had to bring us
that
into
makes sense.
existence. And if God caused the Big Bang to happen, light, and then we all came from that, the what they call chaotic explosion was
Mm-hmm.
actually an organized explosion from God's hands. So there's no the Big Bang does not disprove God, it actually proves the existence of God.
Okay. Me run this for you real quick.
Because without the Big Bang, you have to say like, oh, we could have existed forever, and that's impossible because the
That
universe is not God.
that's a good point you made, but still hard to wrap my head around when you got like icebergs like literally blocking us and high winds blocking us from even crossing, say if I was to go east from Georgia
Like
to Asia.
if there's an edge
Yeah, pretty much.
around,
I wouldn't say there was an edge. I would say there's land that's
but
been
like
untouched,
what is it,
animals we probably never
Australia?
seen, you
Is there
know.
like an ice cap around Australia too
Yeah,
that we can't
like
pass?
yeah, like if there's not ice, it's high massive wind being protected by the four angels, the four corner of the earth. You never heard nothing about that?
So okay,
See, like
four corners.
The Book of
That
Enoch
means
explain more like
that means the
sirens
Earth.
and stuff like that.
That means the Earth is not a square. That means
I
Earth is
wouldn't
not a
say
disc.
I
We
wouldn't say
said because four corners is a
right.
square.
It's yeah, exactly.
You
Yeah,
can't have four
yeah,
corners on the disc.
right. Yeah, yeah. But who knows? It could be like it could be shaped. It
Because
could be shaped like
Revelation is
whatever,
it has a lot of
as long as
metaphors
it's
in there.
full, you know. But check this out. Wow.
But in that video, I told y'all at the end that I was gonna tell y'all what stars were. Now listen up, cause this gonna be crazy. So when I was looking through my comments, I seen a lot of people saying that when they look through telescopes, that the stars look like lights underwater. Someone also said they shake like ripples, and they look like as if you're looking through water. So I was looking at the comments, and I was like, oh, they don't know. They don't know what stars is. Well, let me tell you. See, what y'all don't know is stars are actually dancing glimpses of light, interacting with the water above the firmament.
See, when God made the firmament, he divided the waters from which they were under the firmament and the waters that was above the firmament. Why you think the sky is blue? Big bodies of water is always going to turn the water blue. Just like when you get in your bathtub, the water come out clear, but once it fills up the tub, it has that blue tint to it. See, I'm finna show y'all a video of someone zooming up to a star with their phone.
Like a water driplet.
See, those colors that you see coming off of the stars are based off a wavelength interval and frequency interval. Now listen to that word I just said, frequency. All right, so now I'm about to show y'all a video of a scientist creating a star and saying what you need to create one.
So,
It's the editing ways. Why is she smiling like that? Why can't I hear the? Oh, I think it's cutting off the sound.
So keywords, sound wave, frequency, water bubbles. A strong sound wave, frequency, creating such a strong force through a water bubble that makes it collapse and burst into light, creating a star. Now remember when I said that the color of the star that keep on changing is based off a wavelength interval and frequency interval. Now God said, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He said, let there be light, and there was light, creating light with the sound, vibration, and frequency of his voice. The Word is God. He created those same stars using the frequency of his voice and using the water bubbles throughout the water above the firmament. His voice was so powerful that it allowed the bubbles to collapse, making dancing water glimpses of light. See, Japanese scientist Masaru Emoto came up with a new way to capture messages through water. He took samples of water and freeze them at negative 25 degrees. He'll then analyze the water after a few hours underneath a dark field microscope with photographic capabilities in a lab in a constant temperature of negative 5 degrees. He'll then test out different audio frequencies and human sound vibrations on each sample. He focuses on human vibration energy, such as thoughts, words, music, and how it affects the molecular structure of water. Here's some of his results and works of him doing it, using different sounds and words, creating different shapes on the water, as so. It's similar to the way semantics work, basically about how lightning comes from the stars, but they will not lose their form. The water above the firmament.
Enoch.
The
Sorry.
same way that scientists just showed us how they made a star, using water by adding a frequency of a strong enough sound and vibration. What sound is more powerful than God's? Creating water bubbles that collapsed and bursted into light. It's the same way that God spoke light into existence, using the frequency, vibration, and sound of his voice through the water of the firmament, creating water bubbles all throughout the water, that his word was so strong it allowed the bubbles to burst into light, creating stars, creating the dancing glimpses of water above the firmament. So always remember, in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. The word, frequency, sound, speech, sound
what are your thoughts on that?
What did Tasha say? Isn't the sun just the star that is the closest to the Earth? That's definitely what we've thought the sun to be, just another star that's set perfectly,
Right.
by the earth by God.
And if we get too close, we burn up. If we too far, we freeze up. Like that don't make no sense to me. Right. It's perfectly set up in this
I mean,
position.
it could make sense if there's a God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. But
It's like it's weird. It's the things that's weird to me, right?
what's the point of having this useless universe of nothingness
I mean, we
and
don't
we
know.
are here?
We don't know. I
If
mean,
there is a universe, you know?
but it's like because we don't know the use. Like that's a good question,
Mm.
but it's not like proof of anything. It's just a question, because for all we know, we could be dancing on the planets after we, get caught up by the Lord. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. But I don't I know Jupiter is keeping meteors from, that's, it's in the perfect position to keep me, from what the scientists tell us, and they're not necessarily Christian, you know, unless you got some undercover scientist that's trying to like, let's use this to promote God too. Like I don't know, like, but thing is, it's like this. There's a guy that broke down like, could the earth be a sphere? Could the earth be flat? And he said he's dug into it so much and it can make sense both ways. It's that crazy bald white dude with the glasses that he does all these little crazy science videos. What could the world be if, he's just that animated? I don't know if you've seen him before. I forget his name.
And with gravitational pull, now mass being the Earth mass being far greater, that's why we sticking to the Earth. If that's the case, I'm just like I'm a giant compared to like dust particles and whatnot. Like why I don't have my own gravitational pull? It just
I
we,
mean,
we
but you
don't
got
know.
stuff like friction.
What friction
Yeah.
when two objects rub against one another?
Yeah, I mean, gravity, like, you might not be, you got to think about it, like, the size of the Earth,
Mm-hmm.
we have gravity that pulls us to the ground like this. Now, if the moon is smaller,
Mm-hmm.
then we're not pulled to the ground
As
as
much, yeah.
much. So humans probably are not big enough to have any type of gravitational pull because it's so slow. Like if you think about an echo, if the room is really big, you have a bigger chance for an echo. If the room is real, so then if you think about like Jupiter, we'd probably be stuck to that planet and we wouldn't be able to move. You know what I'm saying? It would be so heavy. But so I'm just saying, like, I don't know this stuff. I don't study it, but I'm
Right.
just thinking, as practically as I can, it could, I'm just asking questions. It could work both ways still. But at the same time, I see a lot of people doing eisegesis, and I can't say whether she's doing that or not, but I don't see any like, oh, people ask good questions like, oh, I wonder what this could be. But I can't say this is that because there's a question. I think it's just a question right now. Could this be it? So it's like this. What I learned from the atheists, a good amount of skepticism is fine. You know what I'm saying? It's not a problem to be a little skeptic because I could say some stuff to you and I could be like, look, um, there's a there's a the Bible doesn't like women. You know what I'm saying? I could probably do a good job at proving that. They took from the man's rib. They're the lesser. They took the fruit. You know what I'm saying? You could do certain things with the Bible
I see what you're
to
saying.
make it seem
Yeah.
a certain way, even though like bubbles. I didn't see bubbles anywhere in there. Now the firmament above, you could say that's clouds. The firmament below, you could say that's the water. Because there's clouds in the air, that's water. So it's
Yeah.
just so many ways you could like this stuff is not a simple, video away to get the answer. Like
Right.
it could be, but people have studied, like scholars have studied the subject for years. Like even people with the deity of God, oneness versus Trinity, like people have given their lives to study this topic as the main topic they study. The Sabbath. It's not as simple cut and dry as people try to say it is. Like some people say, oh, you ain't got love for the truth. It's like, yeah, I mean, some people, but it's just not that simple. I'm very skeptical when I mean even I'm even skeptical to the idea that people went to the moon. But I'm also skeptical to people that say they never been to the moon. Cause it's like I don't know. But when I saw this video from Corridor Crew, I was like, I mean, for what they're telling me, if they're being honest, if I get now, that's how I have to say it. I can't say, oh, you proved it to me. But if like I give them the benefit of the doubt and they're visual effects artists and they're over here trying to say, one guy's like, I don't think they went to the moon, and then they're looking at the video footage and they're like, whoa, wait a minute, how did they do that? they probably got strings. They're trying to explain it, and they're
Mhm.
like, nope, it couldn't work because of this. The
Just
dust was coming up in the air, and you cannot create dust with that type of you can't put strings on dust.
Mhm.
So the way that the dust was moving so slowly from the surface of the moon, they're
Mhm.
like, dust doesn't move like that.
E-
And no visual effects artist back then was doing that. Even now, it would be too difficult to
e-
create slow gravity dust.
Even the pictures, for example, you're supposed to have thousands of satellites surrounding the Earth, you know,
Yeah.
but yet still, then you got pictures that just show no satellites. It's like you got numerous of pictures of Earth, and it's always different. It's never like, okay, this is it. You know, it's always of a Photoshop or assumption of what they think it is. It's never like an actual picture. Like nobody actually went to space and took a full on picture of Earth itself. You know, so when it comes to these video footage, especially when I do editing and whatnot, I'm like, this is not convincing. Like you could easily do this. You know,
Well,
I don't
yeah,
know
the video
how, but it
footage.
could be done.
I don't know. I mean, that would be interesting if an astronaut today went to space and just. I mean, let's say they did, right? They probably have videos that say, "Hey, we're recording the Earth from space," and they're
Mhm.
like, "That's fake." We would probably assume it's fake, even if it was
The
real.
camera can't even survive in space the way they talk about space.
Or it can.
How would they get the footage done? It got to be in some type of protection.
I mean, I don't
I
know.
don't
I
know,
figured
but
in the spaceship they could do it,
it
in
got to
the
be
space shuttle or
within.
whatever.
Yeah, but don't they got pictures of within on the moon itself?
Yeah,
The footage you talking about, is it within the spaceship or actual
it's
outside?
outside.
Outside the spaceship?
Yeah, on they
See,
got the
that's
camera on the
interesting.
moon. They show the camera through somebody's glass. It's
Yeah, cause they gonna make
I
it
don't
look
know, bro.
convincing. I don't know how they do it, but
They
yeah.
could have they back then too. That means that all the technology we have
And I would
now,
like to see this clip too.
bro. We'll look at it
Yeah.
something